You know, I'm not too proud to admit that some of my favourite gaming memories revolve around the Nintendo Wii. Whether it was flailing around a brick of plastic thinking I was getting better at tennis, or playing what my mum lovingly referred to as choppy chop fruit, it was good, wholesome fun for young Tom. But what I don't remember is exploring the icy streets of Silent Hill, the strap of my Wii remote working extra hard to stop me yeeting it into the TV as I tried not to poop my pants. God, that's an image. Welcome to Silent Hill Shattered Memories, I guess. The Wii game that doesn't care about your bowling score or your grandma's brain age. No, this game wants to haunt you. It wants to get in your head, have a rummage around, and leave you questioning who you really are by the time the credits roll. This isn't just the scariest game on the Wii. It's a psychological horror masterpiece that uses every trick in the Wii's arsenal to mess with you. And it works. Oh, it really bloody works. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we have to ask, is Shattered Memories actually a proper Silent Hill game? Now, this might seem like a silly question, but it's genuinely a source of debate even 15 years later. And the most diplomatic answer I can give is kind of. It's not a traditional Silent Hill experience with fog-drenched streets, creepy nurses, or the iconic Pyramid Head stomping around like a horny clubber trying to get into Berghain. Instead, it's a reimagining of the original Silent Hill from 1999. The premise is pretty much the same. You're Harry Mason, a concerned dad searching for his missing daughter Cheryl in the ominous, ooky spooky town of Silent Hill. But that's where the similarities end. Shattered Memories isn't about combat or stockpiling health drinks. It's more about exploration, story, and the creeping sense of dread that builds as the game quite literally tailors itself to your fears. Think of it as less survival horror and more emotional horror, because relatively speaking, survival isn't that hard. It's the existential gut punches that keep you awake at night. And here's where Shattered Memories pulls its first party trick. It's watching you. No, really, it actually is watching you. From the moment you start the game, it's profiling you, learning about your habits, choices, and even your personality. It begins innocently enough with a psychological questionnaire. Do you consider yourself a loyal person? How do you feel about infidelity? Have you ever told a lie? You might just laugh it off, thinking it's a quirky way to get in the mood. Yeah, no, it's really not. Throughout the game, Shattered Memories keeps an eye on everything that you do. Do you pause to stare at a raunchy poster on the wall? You dirty dog. Do you methodically search every room, or do you just pace your way through the main objectives? Even how you look at characters, like eye contact or no eye contact, can influence how the story unfolds. This isn't just a game that reacts to your actions, it judges them. And if you've ever wondered what it feels like to be silently called out by a piece of software, let me tell you, it's unsettling. So one of the best things about the Silent Hill series as a whole is the use of setting, and Shattered Memories is no different. Gone is the oppressive fog of the original game. Instead, you're greeted with a town quite literally frozen in time. Snow blankets every surface, and ice creeps over buildings like a growing disease. It's beautiful in its own bleak, haunting way, but it also reinforces the game's central themes of isolation and emotional distance. This isn't the kind of snow you associate with cozy winter evenings by the rich mahogany fireplace and a glass of scotch. Let me tell ya, it's the kind of snow that makes you feel cold, alone, and very, very lost. And just when you start to get comfortable exploring the eerie, frozen streets, the nightmare world is ready to take over and f*** you up. When this happens, the environment shifts into a twisted ice maze, and the monsters come out to play. These aren't quite your typical Silent Hill grotesqueries though. The creatures are humanoid, almost mannequin-like, and eerily blank, because of course, they're designed to reflect you and your choices. Running from them is tense, chaotic, and claustrophobic. You can't fight back, so you're left flinging furniture in their path, hiding in closets, and desperately searching for an exit. The Wii Remote's motion controls come into full effect here, making the chase sequences as frantic as they are terrifying. Now let's talk about your phone. In most games, your in-game phone is a tool to call for help, maybe check a map, or even ignore requests to go bowling.
Nico, it's Roman. Let's go bowling.
Not so much in Shattered Memories. Here, the phone is a direct line to the game's mind games. While it does serve as your flashlight, your map, and your lifeline to the outside world, it's also one of the ways that the psychological terror starts to sneak in. You'll receive voicemails from unknown numbers, filled with panicked cries or cryptic messages, and some of these play through the Wii Remote speaker, making it sound like someone's whispering in the room with you. It's a simple trick, but it's devastatingly effective. There's something uniquely horrifying terrifying about hearing distorted voices come out of the controller in your hand, especially when they're calling you by name or referencing something you've done in the game. And the fact that the tiny speakers on the Wii remote make even nice noises sound crunchy definitely helps here too. It's horrible, but in the best possible way. At its core, Shattered Memories is about more than just monsters and chase sequences. It's a story about grief, denial, and the lies we tell ourselves to keep going. As Harry searches for his daughter Cheryl, he encounters characters that seem both familiar and deeply unsettling, as though they're reflections of something Harry, and by extension, you, would rather not confront. Without spoiling too much, the story builds to a conclusion that's as heartbreaking as it is mind-blowing. The specific ending you get depends on how you've played, but every version forces you to confront uncomfortable truths about Harry and his search. It's that kind of twist where you just have to sit in silence for a few minutes after the credits roll, leaving you questioning everything you thought you knew about the game. Like I said, it can be a real gut punch, but sometimes that's how the best stories leave you. Obligatory mention of the ending of The Mist, because apparently I mention it in every video now. Let's face it, the Wii wasn't exactly a hotbed for horror. At least not intentional horror. Remember Ninja Bread Man? This was a console built for party games and fitness workouts, not existential dread. And yet, Silent Hill's Shattered Memories managed to carve out a space for itself by doing what most horror games don't, getting personal. It's not about gore or cheap jump scares, it's about the quiet, creeping terror of self-reflection. The game's ability to tailor itself to you, its icy, oppressive atmosphere, and its refusal to let you fight back make it a standout not just on the Wii, but in the entire horror genre. It's scary because it feels intimate, almost invasive. The monsters might not chase you into the real world, but the game's psychological twists, those stay with you. Shattered Memories is a rare gem, a horror game that goes beyond scaring you and actually makes you think. It uses the Wii's motion controls and unique hardware to pull you into its icy world. Then it keeps you there with a story that's as emotionally devastating as it is terrifying. If you've ever wondered what it's like for a video game to feel like therapy, but with more running and screaming, this is it. So if you've still got a Wii gathering dust, you owe it to yourself to give this one a go. Just maybe don't take the game's judgment too personally when it starts subtly pointing out all your flaws. It's just a game, right? Right? But what did you think of Silent Hill Shattered Memories? Did you play it back in the day, or are you going to go and check it out now? Please let me know in the comments below, I would love to read your thoughts. And while you're down there, don't forget to like and subscribe for plenty more on all things gaming. Check out our movie channel, UDS Films, and you can always visit UpsideDownShark.com to keep up with everything else we've got going on. Until then, my name is Tom, this has been UDS, and we'll see you next time. Bye!